same few guys that don't really understand our offense or how our system works.
Mm-hmm.
And it's it started with Philip putting out a tweet that was a great tweet about Mecole Hardman, and people just had to go and trash him. And the one thing that annoys me is when they trash him. I like the guy, and I don't think they see the differences between his first and second year. Well, really mainly his first year with us compared to now.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you see it because we've talked about it, but we didn't, when Sammy left, we're a spread offense. We spread the ball out to everybody.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
There's no true number 2 wide receiver. We haven't had one since Mahomes has gotten here. I don't even know if we really
I don't think we had one with Alex Smith,
we
to be
didn't.
honest.
Yeah, we didn't. Everybody keeps saying we need a true number 2 wide receiver. Well, we've never had one. Sammy admitted it himself. He was out there as a distraction. And when he had great games, he had great games. But most of his great games came when someone else was off the field, whether it be Tyreek or another wide receiver was hurt. Sammy was out there and had a good game, especially in the playoffs. And that was a 2019 playoff run, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. And when he left, we didn't put another person in his place. We didn't fill that spot.
No, not really. No.
No. I mean, who did we bring in? Who did we replace Sammy with? Absolutely.
I guess you could say Josh Gordon now. I mean, probably Cornell Powell,
which is not on the team. He
hasn't panned out. He's on the practice squad.
Exactly.
So, I mean, it just kind of depends if we're just being honest. It's kind of like you said, man, we just don't have a true number 2.
No.
We have a 1A, 1B, and then other guys just fill in. I mean, that makes sense to me. I think what people are expecting, and I think I know where Philip got that tweet, because that same day I was listening to the radio, I was driving back home, and I heard Carrington Harrison say that she should be using should be using Mecole Hardman like Cordell Patterson's being used. Let him run out the backfield, quick passes and stuff. And I think kind of that's where Phil got his tweet, because it kind of reminded me of that. And I don't know if he did or didn't. Regardless of, it was a good tweet, and then also a good segment on their show. But from what I saw them, I'm like, yeah, I mean, it makes sense. It would be interesting kind of see Mecole Hardman as a running back. I don't know if you remember this, JP, but there's some plays this year where Cooper Kupp is next to Matthew Stafford out of the backfield, and all he does is run up and out.
Yeah.
And no one guards him out of the backfield. He's just too fast for these linebackers.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'd be kind of curious to kind of see. I know he does they don't do the tees, just slants. Put him back there running back. Let's just kind of see what happens. I mean,
we've seen Tyreek.
I would be interested.
Yeah, Tyreek's done it. So,
yeah, I mean, you could easily, and I think kind of what's the crazy thing is, honestly, if you want to get Hardman more involved, put him in as running back, in my opinion. If you can put him in as running back, the defense will have to try to stop him, specifically linebackers and defensive tackles, but he's faster. Now, the only issue in that sense is, can he hold the ball? I think he can, but it comes down to at the end of the day. Can he be consistent? And that's what something we dealt with Hardman, where he has not been consistent over long periods of time. That's been the frustrating part.
And the thing is, with Hardman, everybody's dropped passes. Everybody on our team, especially this year, has had the dropsies. I mean, they had it during the Super Bowl last year. I mean, nobody caught a pass last year in the Super Bowl. And this year it's been really no different. I mean, there's been a lot of drop passes by Tyreek, by Kelsey, by everybody. But they single out Hardman. And when you single out one guy that is a third-year guy that has had his, I guess, his normalcy changed to a degree. Sammy's gone. It didn't open up the field as much for him. They put him in different roles that he wasn't really used to. He's going to drop a couple. It's going to happen.
Yeah, but he's kind of fumbled though too a little. And he has,
but Clyde's fumbled. I mean,
Travis Kelce I understand, but I feel like it's your third year in the league. You gotta secure the ball, and that's what everybody. But I noticed with him, I guess the fans expected Mecole to take more leaps and bounds but that's just kind of not what he is. As he said, he finally got fed up and put on Twitter, when will you guys realize I was not drafted to be a number 2? Basically saying, when will you guys realize I'm not a number 1 option? That's not what my job is.
Yeah.
Because he gets tired of it. I mean, I don't blame him, because people who don't know football are trying to put their opinion like, dude, you're wrong.
Yeah, you got guys out
all
there
the time.
5 followers, and they're 17 years old talking about how they know the game so well. And honestly, I mean, some of their points are just ridiculous when it comes down to it. He's a third-year guy. Yes, would he have stepped up a little bit more? Wait, let's look at it from this perspective.
I feel like he should step up some more.
Well,
it's his 3rd year in the league. I feel like he should be taking a little bit more leaps and bounds than what he has.
Well, okay, but look at it from this perspective. You got an all new offensive line. Patrick Mahomes hasn't been the best this year, up until here recently. I mean, he wasn't throwing the most accurate passes, throwing balls in the dirt. It just wasn't, standing in the pocket way too long by design for no reason. Somebody said, and then now they're saying, oh, well, he leaves open pockets. He runs out of open pockets. Somebody posted that a couple of times now. I knew he was. That just
shows you no one will ever be satisfied.
Nobody will ever be satisfied. Now and they said, oh, I knew he was leaving clean pockets too early. Look, it doesn't matter what you think he's doing wrong or right. The man is a 2-time Super Bowl appearance quarterback and is basically 3 years of starting at the time. In 3 AFC championship games, broke more records than Brady's broken. And for the most part, he's got almost as many touchdowns as Troy Aikman did in 13 years. And that's including and that's regular season touchdowns. That's not, Troy Aikman's got 165 total touchdowns in his career, total. Super Bowls, playoffs, everything. Okay, granted, yeah, it was a different era, but it doesn't make any difference. He still had Michael Irvin and some of the best wide receivers in the game. Yep. So to sit here and say that it was all about Mecole, there's been times that, the ball's not been thrown the greatest this year. And it happened to Kelsey. It happened to Tyreek. It happened to Pringle. It's happened to everybody that's been out there so far. Even Josh dropped the ball,
Yeah, he did.
So, and he's one of the guys that in his career, I don't know if he dropped maybe more than 2 in his entire time he played up until now. And then granted, he's been off for a while and I understand it, but it's a team effort. And not everybody's going to be able to extend themselves to a point that they can snag something that maybe was just, a foot off or 2 feet further than they can reach. I mean, Mahomes has overthrown Tyreek 3 times.
Yeah.
This year. He overthrew
that were touchdowns if he caught that, because he would have burnt them.
Oh, in a heartbeat. Yeah.
And I still feel like their connection on the deep ball is not there.
It's not.
Either he overthrows or underthrows, and it's hard. It's hard.
And it's because a lot of it's because it wasn't done. That's the biggest problem. If you look at week 1, he was throwing some deep passes and they were all being connected. I mean, he threw a couple of great deep passes. From week 2 on, well, really week 3, I should say, because he did pretty well during the Chargers game for the most part.
Oh, yeah. I'm just saying, consistently nailing the long bomb, it hasn't been their thing yet. No, it seems like.
No, it hasn't. And it's just, a lot of it's because they've been, teams have kind of figured out, let's run a 2 high safety set. Let's keep everybody, the 2 main threats covered up. They don't have Sammy anymore. So, and we don't have anybody we're really scared of because they didn't put anybody in that position to be scared of. So that's true. Now they got Josh. And if they put him, if he would have been put in, I'll just put it like this. When Andy was not calling the plays from week 3 on, if he would have been utilized a lot more, his game today, his role within our team will be a lot bigger. I think leaps and bounds bigger than what it would have been or what it is now. It was just a matter of who was calling the plays and how things were rolling at that point.
Yeah.
And we seen it. What game was it? Was it the Dallas game that Mahomes got all up into Bieniemy's butt?
I think so. I don't even know if they were arguing. That's the thing. I couldn't really tell from the video.
Yeah, from what I heard, it was an argument. And I heard it wasn't that pleasant. It wasn't like pleasantries, that's for sure. So, and it was over, I think it was over that Josh Gordon pass, if I'm not mistaken. The one that
Well, it wasn't on Mahomes. He threw the ball and the guy dropped it.
Yeah, but I think it was a non-design play, from what I understand. And Mahomes is like one of the best at improvising. So it wasn't designed the way apparently it was called. So that's when the confrontation kind of happened. And Mahomes was pissed after that. You can see it in his face. He was, but you know what? I'll tell you this. If anybody wants to really look at this in depth, go back to week 3, week 4, even week 5. When did we play the Washington?
We played them week 4.
Week 4, was it?
I think so. Let me check. The Chiefs played Washington. I think it was week 4. So we started off week 5. Sorry, my bad. Week 5. We played Washington.
If you look at the expressions, the defeat look on Kelsey's face, on Mahomes' face, on some of the other offensive players' faces during that time period, really week 4, 5, and 6, I'd say. Even during the Philly game, they weren't happy.
I would say week 4, 5. Yeah, week 4, 5, and 6. JP, you're right. Those were the down days, bad days, if we're being honest.
Exactly, and they
4,
just
5, and 6.
Yeah, and even prior to that, from week 3 on, they didn't have that. They had a defeated look. I mean, I don't know any other way. I've never seen Mahomes look defeated. I've never seen Kelsey look defeated. I'm tired of people saying Kelsey slowed down. He's old. That's not the case. You freaking people. He has been injured since week freaking 2. Get over it.
He's dinged up. His arms and his shoulders are dinged up.
You know,
his hands specifically.
Jesus. He's not slowed down. He's fine. His speed is there. He's just in just as good a shape as he was last year. Has nothing to do with his speed, has nothing to do with anything. He was injured. He was dinged up. He's been dinged up for like 7 weeks. So give the guy a break. I mean, everybody has to come up with this narrative all the time. He's old, he's slow, he's slowing down. Oh my God, he's 30. Oh my God, he's 31. Oh my God. It's nothing like that. I mean, God forbid somebody actually plays through an injury and they slow down a little bit because of it. God forbid they're not 100%, you know. But anyway, regardless, the looks on their faces is a telltale sign of a lot of things. That Raiders game, from snap 1 until the clock struck 0, every one of those guys had a look on their face of happiness. They felt like they were back. They felt like they were the team of old. You can see their faces lit up. Kelsey's face lit up, and he was hurt. He was really hurting in that game, but he was still happy. Then you go to the Cowboys game, and it was almost the same thing again. You had Bieniemy calling plays. You had Andy on the other side of the field, and you saw. Not only did you see Kelsey's disappointment, but you saw it in Mahomes' face. You saw it with the confrontation. You saw a lot of different players just not looking the same. And you saw the point count go down. And I still think that if Andy was calling all of those plays, we'd have scored 28, 30 points on that team.
You probably
had every opportunity to do it. So there is a disconnect right there. I've been saying this for a long time, and then other people picked up on it. ESPN and some other people, but there is a disconnect, and that's going to get resolved. And I think it's already there. I think these players, and I know Mahomes has finally figured out, you know what, I'll do what I got to do. It is what it is. You know, if it's an open spot, if somebody doesn't like it, oh, well, come and say something to me about it, you know, and I'll just walk off, because he's not going to allow that to happen anymore. He's not going to be
they
that
saw
scapegoat.
how low the team got. And as we said, Mahomes is not a pocket passer, and that's what they were trying to make him to be. Took him to